Do you guys have lots of these things that I can take 10 of them for our family?
Yeah, there's an open box. Yeah. No.
Must be taller Indians where you come from. All right, good evening. Really? Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. So, good to see everybody turn up. Good dinner. Yeah. All right. So we're ready to start off with the next, this is the third annual Scotland Chiefs Council's AGM. I get to introduce first speaker, Chief Don Harris, the chair of the SCC, and it looks like we brought along Joey. I would say sidekick, but I might get kicked.
So before we get started here, I get Joey to walk me to the chair. Just welcome to everybody here. I was gonna do the selling that card.
Scotty, Lanka, Houston, Wilson, Takamiwa Mac, Takamiwa South, Takamiwa Gully, Takamiwa here, Multi-Tier Scotland. What cash was Olmsted, is still that Scotland. Of Axton Stew, Iku Asham, the team in New Scotland. Custom Cup, Ga'aka, the Amash Tiamas.
Muted.
So I thought I'd just do the welcoming and just welcome everybody here, and I did the Stallion Fair. Joey is in his last year of immersion. He started when he was 4 years old, and he's been running a 4-year immersion program over in Mount Curry. So I just wanted to bring him up, and I know that this is, again, going to be a key part of some of what we're doing in the future, bringing back the language as well. So I'd like to welcome everybody here. There's been a lot going on over the last couple of years. What the SGS has done is that they've done a lot of work, and they had to get a lot of work done in a short time. And they brought in a lot of help to get everything in place here, so we get everything moving. There's a lot of obligations within our Scotland Hydro agreement that we have to make sure that we get done. But there's over the next several years, there are going to be a lot of changes. We've been putting a lot of stuff, Ernest and his team have been putting a lot of stuff in place, getting things organized, getting things rolling. There's a number of business things that we're getting going. But some of the changes that we're going to be looking for over the next few years is that now that we've got things in place and well on its way to meet the BC Hydro's obligations from our agreement, is now we're going to start looking at how do we benefit the nation through all of this. We've got a pretty huge agreement here, and although it's been a couple of years, that's been a very, very short time to get accomplished what has been done. So what we're doing now is we're looking at how can the nation benefit more from the agreement with everything that's been put in place. We've got the business side of it, the education side of it, we've got culture and heritage coming up. We've got a lot of our environmental things moving on now, addressing our fish and our wildlife with the nation. So this is some of the things that we're going to be trying to do is No, I don't have races. So today here, trying to recover. Lawyer here comes out. So you're going to see a number of things here tonight. There's going to be a number of presentations by So you can see another presentation of what's been going on over the past year. But we were all.
You already got them.
Check.
There.
Yeah, so you're going to see a number of presentations about the number of departments that have been put in place there and how they're moving forward, what projects they have going on in different areas. And we're also going to throw in a separate but related presentation that we've got some ladies that will be swimming to Fraser that want to come up and do a presentation in recognition of the Poly mine disaster. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to call up Stacy to give some of our dreams and thoughts and plans and the direction that we want to bring the SCC now.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Austinson. I am from Half Club. You want to stay with me? I am the acting executive director for the SCC. What I wanted to talk about was a little bit of expanding on the vision and the mission statement that is in your book. The Chiefs have been working on a lot of really great things that come the SGS, getting that up and going. That is our service delivery agency for the nation. Also, they've been working really hard on ensuring that our economic on the Statue Eco Resources is up and running as well. So that's kind of what they've been working on quite a bit this last year. Some of the things also just in the office, they've completed their governance manual last December, and that's how they govern themselves. And they also had drafted an SGS delegation agreement, and that is just to say how SCC and SGS relate to one another and what expectations the Chiefs have of SGS. Am I loud? Am I good? Okay. So in the last year, and actually the last 2 years, we've been working on this year two of the Constitution work. The first year was basically bringing a team together from the communities. We had, I think, about 5 or 6 participating reps. And what we're working on is having a nation constitution, and that nation constitution is to capture like the values and principles and how we govern ourselves as a people. So in year 2, this year has been really fun. We have a really great team. It is expanded to, I think, about 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And I'm thinking that we're using a lot of the language as well, but we're going to be going out to the communities in the next month or 2 to start hearing more from the people. The first year was a lot of talking to the elders and getting those basic principles and values, but now we're going to go out to the communities and reaffirm that. So also in the coming year, there are plans to do, to really, how do we maximize that recent Chilkoot decision? I think that is very important for us to really take a look at, absorb, and how do we move forward, and again, like I said, is to maximize on that. And also that because of we have all the service agencies, and we have like all the agencies and SATNAM agencies that we're going to continue to advance and refine those internal and external relations, not only just in our territory, but also with our neighbors and with other agencies. So I think I'm going to pass this on to Ernest. Are you next?
Daryl Bob.
Daryl Bob. Chief Daryl Bob is next. And he will actually lead you into the successes that SGS has had and how much work has been done in the last year, which is a lot. So handing it over to Daryl.
It basically reflects the framework.
Good evening. Welcome once again to the third annual update in annual General Assembly. Just like to thank the cooks for the wonderful meal. Thank you. The good thing about it is that what I like about that is it's environmentally friendly. They supply all the plates, everything, you know. They got compost in here. It's awesome. We have to do more of that in more of our communities, and thank this community for blazing the trail for that, as well as I know Seton does that as well. It's awesome. It's a good thing to step into the future and looking after the land the way we say we are going to. So I'd just like to thank you all once again, elders, members, youth. So I'd just like to just give a brief about what I stated last year. As the chair of the Staff and Government Services, one of the statements I made last year was to complete and ensure that we have a governance structure in place, that we have all our policies and procedures in place so that we can consistently run a good office under good governance. And we've completed that. Thank you, all the staff and all that participated in that. We've currently done all of the policies that we need to do. We just finished the final one. I just finished signing the final draft of the financial policy today. So that's hands up to everybody that was involved. Now for the future, for the next year, and I guess I always kind of put myself on a spot because I set benchmarks for next year. As I did last year, I said we finish the policies and have them done. There's a lot of work, and it was an enormous amount of commitment by all staff and members involved. So this year, I just kind of want to touch on what I think our board of directors has currently been looking at and discussing, as well as Ernest, our implementation manager. As the chair, today I think we want to get into closing the gaps of communication within our organizations. We need to move forward. If we're going to move forward as a nation, we need to start closing the gap amongst our peers, amongst who we work with. There's even amongst our membership. Our membership need to know more. We need to filter more information to our membership. We have to find that avenue to get communication to the members so they know fully and that we are coming forward with transparency to all. So that I think is one of the critical ones. And as well as we as a board, now that we're fully functional, we are going to do and work on our annual goals, developing our annual planning, our planning cycle. I think our next planning cycle is in spring, coming up spring. So, and I do believe, and I'm being testing myself, I believe we have to review the annual, leading up to the annual review will come up this fall. So we'll be doing that this fall, moving into spring, creating a new year's planning. Now, we need to take, again, as a board of directors, we need to take a new approach to governance as another goal. We have to close the gap of communication again between the Staffing Chiefs Council, who is our boss, so to speak, that guides and gives us direction. We need to have a better communication there. Also, we have to take it as a results-based approach. We have to start showing on the ground through our communications the results that we've accomplished. We have to show the people that staff in government services, based on your vote to agree to this hydro agreement, that we are creating opportunity and results for our members. And we have to consistently stay on top of the contracts, the responsibilities through the agreement that keeps us afloat. And we need to be promoting in our organization a needs approach agenda. You know, what is it that our communities need? How are we going to help our communities as an organization to grow? There's so much opportunity out there. I think it's our time at the SGS level to help our communities with the information. You know, we have many studies. There's been so many studies done on Stratton Nation. We've been studied to death. There have been so many studies. There have been thousands of dollars spent on what a Stratton is. I think we need to compile that information, utilize our own talents within our own nation to do this work. We need to use our resources that we have in the nation to start putting together the puzzle of how the Stratton Nation moves forward into the future for the best interest of our future generations. So I think I'll just close with that, because the more I talk, the more I promise we'll do for next year. And this is a lot of work for the next year, is closing that communication gap, as well as creating good opportunities for the nation. So, you know, coming into the winter holidays, wish you all the best safety on the roads. Look after yourselves when you're driving in the winter, and help one another, look after each other, as we are one people. Niki, Kakri Shutuka.
All right. So one of the highlights of our annual meeting is the report we provide. And so you'll see it in the front. We have a bunch of the copies made up. It looks like people have got them. And really just gives you a quick idea on what some of the key results that we've achieved, how we're structured, a little bit of background, understanding about how we do things. And we are basically a structured government. We work under the SEC, they provide that leadership. We have our own board that takes care of the governance and operations of things. We've been able to sort of separate business from politics, so to speak, but we haven't alienated those politics from the business. And it's good to hear, you know, our chair talk a bit about we need to start relying on ourselves and take care of ourselves. And to me, this is one of the key messages that we need to take into consideration when we start going down the road and taking care and taking responsibility back for our health and wellness. We need to understand that for all the work that people do for us out there, we can do it better for ourselves. And it starts with governance. And so this is one of those key things, and you know, this is a way for us to exercise that a bit better. We have an interesting approach this year around our reporting. We actually have we have 5 different presentations, and the 6th one is success stories. And a lot of our presentations are done by video this year. And this is so that we actually have a communication tool that we can share with anybody else on the road. It'll be posted to our website and all those other kinds of things. So we'll have this information for anybody and everybody. One of our key things around communications this year we've been directed from the SGS board is to improve communications, improve our tools. As we say, one of the best ways we deal with that is improving how we do the AGM. So for example, we have this event is being webcast right now. And this webcast will be saved onto the net, and you can review it tonight if you want to when you go home. If you missed something that was really exciting. Only a couple of guys laughed. All right. But one of the key things that we have in our agreement is the relations component. And we've had a couple of new staff come on board this year. We had a couple of staff that moved on. I know I like to recognize them. We have Daryl Peters. He was our relations manager, and he went on to other business and other things. And so he actually was a valuable contributor to our organization. We also have Larry Casper, who's not here tonight, if you can see. He's the resource manager. He went on to, I say he got demoted, but I guess if I was from this community, they probably beat me up. He went to become the chief in Flat. And I said, well, why'd you do that, Larry? We got lots of work to do. But we have a couple of replacements, and they've done a very good job. And I'm just going to acknowledge some of the managers that we have. So our new manager, relations manager, is Janice Whitney. Is she in? Oh, there she is. So Janice started back in, I think it was April 30th. And so she's done a lot of work for us since then. We also have Lita Gomez. She's not here, or is she here? Back corner, please stand. Oh, she is standing. Thanks, Lita. She's taken over, she's now our resources manager. We also have another new staff. We have, I forgot her name. Laura John. Laura John's our new set manager. She'll be the first one up in the presentation. She's done a lot of work. One of our key areas is around the education training. And for us to be developing a nation strategy for all the different components around education and training is a very significant step in our development. We also have, who else am I missing? We have our executive manager, I'd like to call her, it's Margaret. Margaret doesn't like to stand up, but anyways, so, and last but not least, we have our contract management department, and it's headed up by our good friend, forgot her name. It's not Debbie, Bonnie, you know. All right, so we're going to get right into it. So when you look at the report, it goes group by group, program by program. You get near the end, it talks about staff needs and resources and the project they do. And then there's a little bit of a report in from the trust and what it's about. And on the last page is the financial report that we provide. And so I'm just going to quickly go over this. It's, it's interesting and all those different things. But one of the things that was one of our challenges at STS and for the Saskatchewan Chiefs Council is that we didn't have our advanced tax billing from Revenue Canada. It finally came through this past year. And as a result of that, we were able to receive our resources from the trust. So it was the first year in the third year of operations that we've actually received our revenues to be able to carry out our work. And so we received 2 years worth of funding in this last year. And so when you look at the financial report, you look at the bottom line, as they always say. And the bottom line really for us identifies surpluses and deficits. When you look at the statement that's provided, it talks about what the assets were at the end of last year. And there's no surprise that most of the program areas had a deficit here. You look at the revenues we received this year, which is basically 2 years worth of revenues in different departments. We have the administration fund, that's basically the operations for SGS. Governance is basically the STC and the activities they carry out. And all these different programs are listed in there as well. The third column identifies all the expenses for the past year. And then at the end of that, we'll identify if there's a surplus or deficit in that program for that operating year. And then you look at any transfers that may have happened between programs and departments. And the last column is the year-end surplus deficit. And you'll note that there's some program areas that have a surplus, some of them large, some of them small. We also have some programs that have deficit. And this is actually part of our debt recovery plan. Because initially for the first year we had no operating funds. We had to borrow money to carry us for the first year. And we understood that we had to create a 5-year debt reduction strategy. And we're well on track to meet those. And so I thought I'd just give that out. At the end of the year, we have about a little over $1 million that was in the bank. But it's restricted money, it's targeted for programs and services that are listed. And so we're going to get into the different program areas now. And the first one up is we have the STATM Education Training Program. And we're going to be talking a bit about the work that's been going on there. And some exciting developments around the STATM Education Program. And so I'll let Laura take it away.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Video first.
Oh, we have a video first, and then Laura's up. All right. So please enjoy the videos.
get the lights?
Hello, I'm Ernest Garman, Implementation Manager of Staff Government Services. My responsibility is to implement the hydro agreements that were ratified and SGS came online January 2011. We have been looking at building, improving our relationship with BC Hydro. We've started that process, and we've also introduced good governance for Staff Government Services. We made sure that we have accountability, we have performance decision, we support the unity of the nation. We have clear organization role responsibilities. We're a learning organization and we're results-based. We'd like to share some of the results that we've achieved in the water use projects and with our watershed project. Thank you.
The watershed portal essentially was a deliverable within the settlement.
Who's Norm?
And results-based. We'd like to share some of the results that we've achieved in the water use projects and with our watershed project. Thank you.
The watershed portal essentially was a deliverable within the settlement agreement, and it came about in response to a need for a way for hydro to share information with staffing. And so what we're doing right now is we're working with the end goal in mind, and we're going back to develop the processes and procedures needed in order to reach our goal.
The water use plan, there are 16 monitoring programs that were awarded to Statly and Meco Resources following the completion of the bridge system water use plan in March of 2011. Within BC, this is a unique arrangement for BC Hydro that creates efficiencies in terms of program delivery, capacity building for BC Hydro and staff.
The portal is an online web-based mapping tool. Right now, it covers the entire settlement territory and it contains only publicly available information. So that includes watershed boundaries, streams, mineral licenses, claims, that type of information. The beauty of the portal is that it can contain whatever information staff wants to see there.
Positive changes that CERA's made for the stallion. CERA's maximized economic opportunities and created economics of scale due to its knowledge of sustainable land and resource use, and its relationship with strategic partners who recognize stallion territorial authority.
The big change that I think that we've seen in the nation was really, it's been helped for us to become organized. We've done a lot of work in becoming a partner, but also be able to deliver our obligations and agreement.
It's given the company a chance to share more broadly across all the operating regions the importance of doing it with First Nations, in particular in Staff territory. It's provided managers with an opportunity to say this is important, it's a long-term relationship, and please feel free to share openly with staff the plans that you have, how to operate in the project plans.
We're doing strategic planning now, more so than we did in the past. So I think the positive changes are there for the nation.
It'll also ensure that stallion values are protected, and that the communities can continue to be stewards of land.
In my opinion, the agreement has put into place a basis of fundamental relationship that we've both strived for, staff and BC Hydro. And it's been an extreme pleasure to see how far they've progressed, both internally and with BC Hydro. And I'm looking forward to the next year with a lot of excitement.
Yeah, do the presentation first.
You can do that at the end.
Do the sign at the end, not just do the presentation.
Yeah.
Oops, you okay? Yeah.
Got ya.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll let you know. Okay? Schnell Good evening, everybody, elders, guests, community members, staff and leadership, and all the children, of course, our future generations. At this time, I'd like to take your attention and bring you to a quick PowerPoint presentation about building competency within the capacity that we are working on, striving to ensure lifelong learning success for all staff. Am I loud? I feel loud. I'm not yelling, really. Okay, next. So lifelong learning is a collective responsibility, and we all recognize and know that lifelong learning is something that is a continuum from prenatal. We can say prenatal, preconception, all the way throughout early childhood education to early childhood learning, kindergarten to grade 7, secondary education to post-secondary education, into our adult early learning years, into our elderly. Life is continuum. Lifelong learning is something that we all share, informal learning and formal learning. The Statham epistemology of the Statham is an interconnectedness that we are all collected, and we are all within the same Statham territory. So with the epistemology are focusing on your values and your beliefs. So that includes language, culture, education, elders, story, traditional knowledge, etc. So it embodies a great sense of knowledge from language and culture to education, Western forms as well. We all recognize and know that at this critical time to start moving forward in education, we need to start working together, build capacity on existing structures that we do have in education. Each one of our communities has education programs, but we need to start looking at strength, what those kinds of services are and what they look like as a nation, and start moving forward with the implementation and strategies and plans. Looking at the framework that is outlined in the annual general report, there are 4 or 7 objective areas, and they focus from prenatal education, kindergarten 7, grade 8 to grade 12, post-secondary education, skills and training, and organizational development. So these overall objectives that have been identified from the framework program that has been completed in 2013 are the driving goals and indicators on where we need to focus our energy and strategies to create a sustainable plan for 20 years, for the next 20 years. So taking a step back into Indigenous knowledge systems for the Statham is focused on values of the community, linguistics, language and cultural values. It is local, and it is focused on central learning within the Statham territory, and respects the shared knowledge, collective knowledge of the Statham as a nation whole. Lifelong learning is holistic, cultural relationships, that everything is interconnected, from the land to landscapes, the ecological, languages, local content and meaning, respecting Statham cultural traditions and values, and as well as responsibilities of passing on and transferring that knowledge from one generation to the next. So we recognize and we know that Shtatim have values, content, learning, and is something that should be acknowledged and should be a part of the inclusive language learning and or Western learning forms in public schools. Defined as all learning activity undertaken throughout life with the aim of improving the knowledge, skills, and competencies within a personal, civic, social, and employment-related perspective. It's about promoting knowledge competencies so that Shtatim would be able to adapt and build the skills and knowledge acquired and to be able to apply those skills in their social, economic way of life within the Shtatim at large. So this is just the Shtatim Declaration gathering, the 100-year declaration signing in Chilaf. So the key attributes of Aboriginal learning, and it doesn't matter if you're First Nations, Métis, or Inuit, the attributes are all the same, that learning is holistic, learning is lifelong, learning is experiential, learning is rooted in Aboriginal languages and culture, it is also spiritually oriented through ceremonies, it is a communal, collective responsibility, and it integrates the balance of Aboriginal and Western knowledge systems. So, with the Shtatim Education Training Framework, the overall objective and intent is to work collaboratively and collectively with the nation at large, focusing on the focus of the vision and the intent of the agreement, reflects community and cultural values and standards, builds on Shtatim Indigenous knowledge systems and values, and reflects the state of learning of our Aboriginal learners within the nation. Next. So here we have children, community, engagement, collectively. Next slide. Honoring seasonal spirits. We know that the summertime, fall seasons are prime time for harvest. So getting out onto the land and engaging our lifelong learners, bringing back traditions, sustainability of language and cultural traditional values from areas from school living to rites of passage, hunting, spring grounds, spring harvest grounds, elder storytelling, dip netting, etc. So all of those are inclusive ways of knowledge and learning. So taking a look at the framework principles, looking at the prenatal education, that's objective number 1. So prenatal education is important. Why do we need to focus on prenatal education? Because if we have healthy pregnancies and healthy births, education, and because increasing highly educated Shtatim with the skills, knowledge, and competencies so that they may be able to fill and employ positions that are comparable to other British Columbians. Education and training has an important role in sustaining the Shtatim vision. Education is a political issue. It is something that we need to address and acknowledge so that we can improve the education outcomes, but not only education outcomes, we would also be securing and sustaining the sustainability or the economy of the Shtatim. Shtatim ways of knowing are ensuring to continue on with the research and the content that is relevant, that reflect the Shtatim values and visions of the Shtatim Education Training Framework. And also acknowledging the informal and formal learning. Informal learning, learning from your family, learning from your elders, learning from traditional knowledge systems, and formal learning from education system training and or vocational opportunities. So there has been a workbook that I've been working on, and in this workbook, it focuses on each one of the objectives from prenatal education all the way through organizational skills and development. And each one of these objectives has been identified as goals for bringing the nation and moving the nation forward. But when we take a better look at these objectives, we need to focus on, why do we need to focus on prenatal education? Why is it important? What are the indicators? What strategies do we need to develop and apply so that we may be able to have positive outcomes so that we can make a difference in education and increase employment and training opportunities for our nation? So the framework book is focused on narrowing down on what are those strategies that we need to take to move forward as a nation. So creating a common ground. A common ground is coming together with Western knowledge systems and Aboriginal knowledge systems and pulling them together and creating a common ground understanding, balancing traditional knowledge systems and Western knowledge systems. We know and recognize that academic achievement is important, but we also recognize that knowledge, traditions, language, and culture and spirituality is also valued as important. Here on this model, I just put the Shtaqin Unity Ride on there because the Shtaqin Unity Ride is something that has been really symbolic within the Shtaqin territory. It's been going on for approximately, 14 years now. And it's an annual event. And the Shtaqin Unity Ride is a holistic model of education and learning. And on this model of education, it engages community links. It deconstructs colonial ways of teaching and learning, and we reconstruct it into a manner where we are teaching and passing on knowledge that is valuable to the Shtaqin and for the Shtaqin. It is non-linear, it's cyclical. So those people that have been on the Unity Ride are able to reflect and learn and build on existing knowledge. Land links, learning about place names, locations, sacred sites, and looking at symbols, images, pictographs. It is at times nonverbal during ceremonial practices and events, and learning maps, learning about the territory, learning about transportation, learning about time, science, socials, all subject areas. Next. So that's just an image of the Unity Riders. Next slide. So these are the rooted Aboriginal pedagogy. Pedagogy is how you teach, how you transfer knowledge, and how students and or lifelong learners acquire that knowledge. So you have your community links, you're deconstructing, reconstructing. It's non-linear, land links, community, symbols and images, non-verbal, learning maps, and story sharing, oral traditions. And throughout the Unity Ride, we have elders, leadership, communities, families, children, acquiring horsemanship skills, social skills, etc. So these are just some images. An artist that had shared his knowledge and content, doing his studies while acknowledging and adhering to Shtaqin values and protocols. So I just want to end with this slide here. So you can click play on that.
Bridge that gap. No, it ain't whack, but it's a lot of knowledge that you gotta pack. Start on that side, and that space is wide, but when they see us coming, they're gonna run and hide. Change is slow, sometimes you gotta lay low. Rest, get strong, fight the status quo. Find a crack, take your shit back. Lead by example, get that side back on track. Bridge that gap. No, it ain't whack, but it's a lot of knowledge that you gotta pack. Make your own models, crank up that throttle. Right, start teaching overall, you gotta keep reaching. Decolonize, you better recognize, but above all else, always indigenize.
That's actually one of my favorite clippings. She was one of my students from the University of Saskatchewan, a master's student, and I taught a course on epistemology of Aboriginal pedagogy, teaching and learning. And so one of the creative projects that they had to develop was to create something that was visual and audio, and something that was quick and responsive and catchy. And so that was something that identified closing a gap, finding a common ground, building unity and moving forward. So here at the Shtaqin Government Services, we are committed through the Shtaqin Education Training Program to achieve success for all learners. We want to be able to provide services, partnerships, and engage with the community collaboratively and collectively to move forward as a nation with a collective common vision that we can ensure that the success for all staffing is attainable. The next part is the Shtlachim Education Leadership Accord. This is something that hasn't been done before. The Education Leadership Accord is an agreement that we're looking at and very excited and thrilled about our leadership coming together with a common vision, a common value to improve education and training outcomes for Shtlachim individually, collectively, comparable to other British Columbians. The purpose of this accord is to look at examining the possibilities and gaining greater understanding and in-depth control of education. You can go to the next. Can you click it to go faster? So the accord is intended to build on the existing Shtlachim structures, the context within the nation that is already present, find out what the areas of strengths are within the nation, and also to build upon the areas of weaknesses. So within the Education Accord, and the training framework, there's a political Shtlachim Chiefs Council, the CTAC Shtlachim Education Training Advisory Committee, and the strategic partners, administrative department with SGS through the SET program. So looking at the diagram that is on the wall up here, we have the SET program up above, that's me. So my job is to engage and to create and ensure the reciprocal accountability, working with the also providing support to the Shtlachim Education Training Advisory Committee. The Shtlachim Education Training Advisory Committee, which is the technical support, are basically appointed Shtlachim community members from each one of the tribal communities. The Shtlachim Chiefs Council, of course, is our governing body, and our strategic partners range from BC Hydro to could be from trades partners and any other entity within the nation that's working with us. So looking at the accord is basically going to be pulling the effectiveness and the governance structure together, building capacity, and further engaging into effective communication. So the accord intent of the Shtlachim Chiefs Council signing of the agreement of the Education Leadership Accord is to look at the core issues, identify what the core issues are within the Shtlachim regarding education, employment, and training, to ensure openness, transparency, and reciprocal accountability. To work together on the SET programs or SET Shtlachim Education Training vision of the nation, to develop governing capacity, improve consultation and communication within the Shtlachim, and discuss capacity building requirements. Examine possibilities for gaining greater Shtlachim control over education, employment, and training. The guiding principles of the accord is to commit to improve education and training outcomes for the Shtlachim individually and collectively. Understand the relationships must be based on respect and responsibility. Recognize that the accord is intended to support education, health, economic well-being of the Shtlachim, and recognize the importance of cultural and local relevancy. The leadership signing the accord agreement will be committing to engage into ongoing process of dialogues, meetings to achieve the overall objectives of the Shtlachim Education Training vision, and each member shall work towards improving communication with their communities within the education, training, lifelong learning goals and objectives. So each person that signs the accord will also have an individual responsibility and also have contributions at the nation level. So the overall objective is to have proactive development. Let's start moving together, working together as a nation with the Schlafen leadership and start looking at building capacity, working together to meet the goals and objectives of the framework, to solidify the governance structure and to achieve the goals, closing the education, social, and economic gap. That's my presentation. Okay, I guess I'm not done yet. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is presenting a series of videos that will provide you with in-depth understanding, greater understanding of the work that is done in each one of the departments. And so my video is first, and I hope you enjoy it, as I didn't. But standing in front of a camera, in front of a video is something a lot different than standing in front of a class and doing a lecture. But here it is.
Laura John Shannon. I am the Schlafen Education Training Program Manager for the Schlafen Government Services. The Schlafen Education Training Framework has a shared vision to improve and to increase education and training outcomes for all Schlafen comparable to other British Columbians. The overall objectives of the Schlafen Education Training Framework provide us direction and guidance to strategic planning and management of the education training program. The Schlafen Education Training objectives guides the research and planning for the Schlafen Education Training vision of the Schlafen. The Schlafen Education Training Advisory Committee, represented by the technical support team, consisted of Schlafen appointed community members from each of the Schlafen bands. At the nation table, the Schlafen Education Training Advisory Committee will meet on a monthly basis to discuss any concerns, ideas, planning, strategies for implementing, ensuring the continuance and success of meeting each one of these objectives. The strategic partners of the Schlafen Education Training Program are including the Schlafen Education Coordinators, community members, government corporations, organizations, any partnerships, including BC Hydro and or other entities within the Schlafen Nation. As SET Program Manager, my job and my role is to ensure that there's a reciprocal accountability and community engagement with the Schlafen Chiefs Council, Schlafen Education Training Advisory Committee, along with the Schlafen partnerships that we may have. So we're looking at the overall objectives of the Schlafen Education Training Framework. All lifelong learning is consistent from prenatal education, preschool, kindergarten to grade 7, high school, post-secondary, skills and employment, organizational skills and development as well. Now that we have identified the objectives of the Schlafen Education Training Framework, what is now being worked on by the Schlafen Education Training Advisory Committee, along with myself, we are now working on developing a workbook where we identify each one of the objectives and identify what the indicators are. What are the indicators? What do we need to do to improve and to reach the objectives of each one of these goals? And from that direction, we are then able to identify what strategies and what partnerships do we need to establish to ensure that these objectives are followed through and met? The Schlattman Government Services is also working with BC Hydro on a community economic opportunity for our Schlattman Nation. The Skills Gap Analysis Project is important as it is identifying the needs and the gaps within the Schlattman territory. If we are able to identify the gaps within the Schlattman Nation, we would then be able to identify what the needs are and what partnerships are or could be in the near future. The signing of the Schlattman Education Training Leadership Accord will demonstrate the belief that lifelong learning is our collective responsibility. We'll build upon existing Schlattman capacity and strengthen opportunities for collaboration and partnership between individual communities and the nation as a whole. The accord acknowledges the importance of Schlattman governments in supporting healthy communities. The actions set out in the accord and subsequent goals and objectives will reflect this reality. For generations, the Schlattman have lived as a self-governing, self-sufficient economy of people. In harmony with their environment that has met all their needs, education was a process of living according to the values and beliefs and formed the basis of skills and knowledge sought that ensured the development of healthy, balanced individuals, families, and communities. Schlattman education is a commitment to improving achievement for all learners by providing equitable opportunities for all to succeed and to contribute to society in a meaningful manner. We here at the Schlattman Government Services, through the Schlattman Education Training Program, are committed to working together to achieve success for all learners, so that the lifelong learning process of realizing the potential is within reach of all Schlattman community lifelong learners.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the great dinner. It was wonderful. If you'd all turn to page 20 of your handout, your annual report. That is the Statliam Eco Resources annual report. My name is Bonnie Adolph, and I'm the project manager for Statliam Eco Resources. I am just going to play a video instead of doing a long speech and bore you all. The video is much more exciting than that. So I'll let you, are you ready? Yep, okay. My name is Bonnie Adolph, and I'm the project manager of Statliam Eco Resources and the Water Use Plan projects. Statliam Eco Resources was incorporated in 2012, and we are the financial arm of Statliam Chiefs Council. The Water Use Plan is a document that defines the operating conditions to be imposed on hydro facilities. It considers a range of values, including environmental, social, and economic. Water Use Plan guidelines have been prepared by the BC Water Control and are summarized. 1. Protection of fish and aquatic habitat. 2. Flood control. 3. Dam safety. 4. Power generation. 5. First Nation issues. And finally, drinking water, irrigation, etc. There are 16 water monitoring projects and 2 works projects that were awarded to Statliam Eco Resources following the completion of the bridge system water use plan in March of 2011. Service goals for 2014-15 are to introduce more capacity building, job shadowing, and each of the monitoring projects, implement training needs and requirements, and to employ Statliam technicians into higher positions such as biologists and hydrologists within each monitoring project.
So when we radio track any species of salmon we're doing, we got the test receiver and all the telemetry stations, which are on the 4 points of the river, so they tell us exactly how high up the river they come and where they're going. So if they pass the very top site, we pick up the radio code. They all have different codes, frequencies. But yeah, that tells where they go exactly. And if they pass a certain point there. And we also have a fish counter, so with video surveillance, so we can ID the different species and different how many different fish are going through the fish counter, because it doesn't tell us what kind of fish are going through. That's what the video surveillance does.
So this is a radio tag. We're putting these inside the stomachs of a lot of the sockeye that we're tagging here for this project. And what this does is it sends out a simple little signal that has a unique identification code associated with it. And we're able to track the movement of the fish as they move from downstream in the Fraser River all the way up into the Seton River here and up past the dam and all the way to their spawning grounds at Portage Creek or up at Gates as well. So this is the tag that we use to track their movements. We also put a number of other things in these fish. This little guy here is called a pit tag. And this is just a simple microchip, the kind of thing that you would find in a dog, for example, to give it a unique identification number as well. And we use these for when we're recovering fish on spawning grounds, and also when they're moving up past the dam. We have a number of antennas that are right inside the dam that examine how fish move up past through there. And then to help us identify which fish we have actually tagged, we have these yellow spaghetti tags right here. These get fastened to the back of the fish. We just tie them in a simple knot and it hangs off the back of the fish. So we know that whenever we see a fish swimming around with one of these guys on there, we can immediately tell that fish is one that we want to take a second look at. It's one that we've tagged beforehand. We also take blood from these fish the same way that you would do if you go to the clinic and get blood work done. It's the same procedure. It's a simple needle prick in the back of the fish. We take about 4 millimeters of blood, and we use that to run all sorts of analyses to look at levels of stress in the fish, and also to determine the sex of the individual. So if it was a male or a female, this is really important in all of our future analyses. So that's what this little guy is for. And that's pretty much all we do. The whole tagging procedure takes about 3 minutes, give or take a few. So it's quite interesting.
working at. And in those sites, we are finding a range of artifacts and a range of different types of evidence for Stadtland heritage.
Well, my name is Chester Allen. I work with Stadtland Government Services in the Heritage and Cultural team. My job is a heritage field technician. Why am I glad to work with the SGS? To preserve and collect our history with collecting artifacts and to gain knowledge of past living environments. Also to assist each community in heritage concerns and also giving me a good opportunity to visit each community.
In Stadtland territory, it's very much a living landscape, so people are utilizing and accessing the sites that have heritage in them. So we take a cultural landscape approach to our work, and we recognize Stadtland place names, spiritual sites, and significant sites, and try to negotiate that with industry to illustrate that it is very much a living history here in the territory. One of the upcoming projects that we're undertaking is the land use and occupancy study, and our task for that really is to collate and to map the collective knowledge of the Stadtland nation. For the land use and occupancy, we will be relying on archival or past information that has been collected in various forms. But the other really important thing to do is to interview and to interact with current knowledge keepers to identify geographic locations of the cultural, economic, social, and ceremonial significant areas. And we would record the use in that location with as much time depth as possible. So it's a nice combination of archaeological information and current information that helps us to After we completed our fieldwork, and that includes our artifact recovery and our mapping, another important task is to bring that information into the office and complete our artifact analysis and finalize our maps. The data that we were covering from that really helps us to complete the picture of Stadtland heritage. So the artifact analysis can include the dates of the stone tools, those that we're able to recover. And we need to enter those into a database system and then submit those to the archaeology branch so that the sites are registered and have the full documentation up to today's standards. I can't think of anything else.
Good evening. My name is Sue Sanger, and I'm the environmental lead with SGS. So I work with the Lands and Resources Department, and the video is going to showcase some of the projects that we're working on. But in page 17 and 18 of the booklet, it goes over sort of 6 major projects that we have. So we hope you enjoy our video.
Established Sue Sanger, and I'm a landscape pathologist working on contract for Stadtland. Science and traditional knowledge into the decision process for resources in Stadtland. And perseverance are a key part of the work I do here in the Lands and Resources Department. And then the primary there's funny trees and rub. Here, the craft can take that hair by just pulling it like that and putting it in the envelope. And then you can send this to the lab and find out if this is hair by putting this in. One of the things we have learned is how important this area is to have a species. So we look at the diet of grizzly bear, which was learned about by having water bears, and we have GPS collars, we have locations of these bears. And then you can see over here is that, and look at the food. When we look at this grizzly bear foods, and you look at the salad, there's an incredible overlap between bears and people. And so we can look at what's happening in grizzly bear areas. The bears are having trouble surviving in the landscape, and the cultural basis, landscape basis of culture may also be at risk. So we put a lot of energy how is it that the modern experience is in addition, we have started a project called